Atlanta native Miss Pat has been making a name for herself in comedy for nearly 18 years, beginning here in the city where she's from, then continuing to the state of Indiana. She released her book, Rabbit, the autobiography of Miss Pat, in 2017 to rave reviews. The book was even nominated for an NAACP Image Award. Now Miss Pat is continuing her success by launching a new tour and stand-up comedy special while celebrating the release of her new sitcom, The Miss Pat Show, now streaming on BET+. Today on the show, we have our comedy hype analysts, Vanessa Fraction, Capone, and Pierre on the show, along with a very special guest, Miss Pat, to discuss what she has going on. First and foremost, welcome to the show.
Yay! Thank you.
A lot of people, we were definitely excited to have you on, so thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure. Vanessa's smiling big.
Yes, yes I am.
Now, Ms. Pat, this may be the first time that a lot of people are hearing from you or just seeing you in this light. You know, you've been in the industry for a while, so looking back, you know, from the time that you started to now, what do you think has impacted or has, you know, contributed to what has taken that amount of time to reach this point?
Just grind. I mean, we all comedians. This shit take time. It's no overnight success. You see somebody on TV, like, that person probably been doing this shit 15, 20 years. You just now seeing them. You know, like, black people, like, my audience is white. So when black people saw me on Breakfast Club, they're like, oh my God, where you been? I'm like, bitch, I've been around here 16 years. What the you mean where I been? Oh, I'm sorry, can I cuss? Like, what you mean? You know,
Right.
I step on a Breakfast Club and black people like, what, she new. No, I'm not new. I've been in this bitch 16, 17 years. So it's just, I mean, as comics, we take different roles. I happened to get on in the podcast game and went down, my audience just turned mainstream. That's all, but I mean, I'm still the same person. I've been around this bitch a long time.
Yeah. What is that like to, like, being from Atlanta, you know, being in the thick of the culture here and then getting to a point where most of your audience is white?
Well, what happened was I moved to Indiana. Okay. My husband works at General Motors, so we moved to Indiana 15 years ago. So where Atlanta it's got two sides to come. You got urban, then you got, you can go to this side, you can go that side. In Indiana was just one club. So I had to play that one club. So you had to do everything that just went down that pipeline. And that's what I did, because that's all I had. I didn't have the money to go back and forth from Atlanta to here and there. So I just stayed on that side. You know, I don't write jokes for white people. I do me. I talk about traffic cocaine. I talk about being shot. I talk about being a mom. I'm hood as they just happen to like it.
Right. I know Pierre got a joke and an experience about being shot before, so you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did. But one thing I would give it, I'm happy for you, Ms. Pat. One good thing, everyone I talk to that knows you, that knows your grind, got nothing but happiness and love for you that you're succeeding right now. So that's not a normal occurrence. You know, some people be hating on other comedians, but the fact that everyone I talk to about you love you. I only saw you perform one time, you know, in Atlanta, in the hood, and it was, you know, Atlanta was the Uptown Comedy Club. It was one of them black nights was rowdy. They was rowdy as hell up in there. And then all of a sudden I said, oh, you coming up next? I said, ooh, she might catch an L up in here because it's a rough crowd. And you told him a new ass. I was like, hold on, who is she? You control that whole room. You might remember, you might go there a lot, but it was one of them Tuesday night, you know, shots at the Uptown. And when I saw you there, I said, you know what? She got what it takes. She definitely controlled this whole room. And that was a rough night. Okay, I didn't want to go up.
I mean, I know you were excited.
Oh yeah, no. I'm fortunate enough that while she was in Indiana, I was in Chicago, so I've gotten to share the stage with Miss Pat plenty of times and knew that she would rip no matter where she was at. But to you, you've always kept yourself. Like you said, you haven't changed your stories. You know what I'm saying? It was just the audience that was given to you, and you have just continued to rock. So that's why I believe everybody is just super happy for you, because you're very funny, and you have, like, it just, you know, it just feels good when there's, like, not a question where it's like, she can rock it here, she can rock it there. You writing a book about your experiences. You know, you just have I have just seen you just go and go and go and go. So I'm just super happy. That's why I keep smiling, because I'm super proud of you, because it is a tough journey and you've been able to be yourself. And I think that's dope.
Now, speaking of smiling, when we came on, I don't know if you saw Capone, but Capone was over there smiling too. And you know, when Capone smiled, it's like, hold on, let's pump the brakes. So Capone, I don't know if you want to add anything there.
Well, when I first met Miss Pat, I was actually headlining one of the shows out there. And she came up to me and introduced herself, and I didn't know who she was. and she was very, very cool. And she always told me that, you know, I have a lot of respect for you. You say what's on your mind, and you just like me. And I didn't know what she was talking about at the time until I seen her perform. And I was like, wow, she is just like me. She don't care what the hell she say. And I'm the same way. And I cannot tell you how happy I am for you and all the success. Because like Pierre said, you definitely deserve it.
I said it too, Capone.
I'm sorry, Vanessa.
To me, it's just staying true to who you are. You know, we all unique in some type of way. And I think like with comedy, you know, the best comedy to me is when it comes from pain or experiences in life. So, you know, that's what I had. I had a bunch of fucking experiences from fucking drug dealing to molestation to being shot to bad relationship, you name it. I pretty much was handling it. I don't know. I don't even know how to I be smiling sometimes.
You get through it, but comedy can be therapy too.
It was therapy for me. It really was.
That's awesome. To continue to see the growth is going to be amazing. Now, in this, I want to get your opinion on this because we always hear you getting compared to Roseanne Barr. Yeah. Whether it's you or the show. First of all, what are your thoughts on that when you hear that you're being?
I mean, Roseanne Barr had 9 years. I mean, she was a success story. So I don't mind. Right. I mean, you know, I don't mind being. She's a legend. She had one of the best sitcom led by a female lead. So I don't mind being compared to Roseanne Barr. Her fucking show was a hit.
Right, exactly. Look, let me get them same ratings. Now, in 2018, Roseanne Barr, you know, lost her show due to making a joke about a black executive that worked with Obama. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think she should have been let go, or what was your thoughts, or just your initial reaction when you heard the news?
I think you don't tweet at 2:30 in the morning. I think you tweet and don't hit send.
That's some good advice.
I think you shut the up. I think at 2:30 in the morning is not a good time to be up here joning people, especially if you're the wrong race, okay? Because, I mean, sometimes I be wanting to say shit. Like, you get into that habit where you old school and you be forgetting they done changed the language on you, and you're like, oh, I can't say that. When we did the show, one of the episodes we shot was called derogatory, and we couldn't use words like I'm from Atlanta, so they took the word jab slap out, but they used the word chinks. Well, if you grew up, I'm 49 years old. Those words was okay back then. The F word was okay, and the kids was like, Mama, you can't say that shit. Like, well, who the change these words? Right. So you can't say stuff like that anymore. I mean, because they have something called people are not built like we were. You know, back in the day, you could talk. We call it joning here. You could talk about people, and then you go on by your business. No, everybody want to cry now. Yeah. No, you got to be held responsible for being that bully. You know, back in the day, you can go and your bully grow up and you marry your bully. Not anymore. Your ass lose everything.
Yeah, and cancel culture, we talk about that all the time. Cancel culture is so big. It's just like as soon as, you know, you do something wrong, it's like, let me cut you off. Now, when I think of like, essentially, I guess like playing the game, it's kind of like what you got to do. The person that comes to mind that I think that doesn't play the game is Katt Williams. No. And you don't think so?
No, he don't play the game.
Right, he is not. Do you have any ties there with Katt?
I work with Katt on his Calipopolis tour. I mean, just real. I mean, he's just, I mean, last time, like Richard and, I mean, in your face like Paul Mooney. Funny as I mean, he's him. Yeah. He hasn't changed over all the years. I didn't know Katt before he blew up, but they say he was the same person from the beginning to the end. Right. And I think that's why people still mess with him. Yep. I saw him out there the other day on tour. I was like, wow, this man been going about 2-3 years, and he's still in an arena.
Right. Do you have any thought? What are your thoughts on that? Of Katt not playing the game, but still we see him continue to succeed time and time again.
When people like you, they like you. When they want to come out, they're going to come out. People have that statement of no one can cancel you but God, you know, that kind of thing. And I think that he's pretty much a testament to that. He's had a lot of fall-ins, in and outs, and things like that. But I think that people take the time to separate the man from the comedy, and they still want to hear his comedy. So again, I think it's something to it, right? I was kind of like something to kind of admire, you know, or to just be like, you can, not the behavior, but just the fact that if you just keep going and the people that want to hear from you.
Your fans are your fans.
Thank you.
I mean, look, I'm being honest with you. I think if Bill Cosby went on tour today, people would go see him. I'm just being honest. Yeah. When you got fans, you got fans. I'm just gonna be honest. And you can say, you can pick it all you want to. People gonna go see Bill Cosby. That's their money, and you can't stop people from going and enjoying who they want to enjoy.
Yeah. Now I say Pierre. Well, I would say Pierre and Capone definitely they speak their minds on here. Pierre, say what you want to say. We put it in the comments. Pierre, I want to come to you. What are your thoughts about, Katt Williams still being able to be himself, stay authentic, but still succeed without playing the game?
Well, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Katt Williams and outspoken comedians. But it comes a lot with it. Sometimes you get a niche fan base that are ravaging and love you. Corey Holcomb, Pat. There's a lot of people. Now, how wide that space goes, the cancel culture is still around. Certain people don't mess with you. Now, you can make a beautiful living being who you are, like Katt Williams, but you don't see Katt Williams advertising soap, cereal on TV shows. Okay, it is what it is. Those folks say we ain't dealing with that. Now, you guys who like him in concert and see him stand up, you can do what you want to. And I love the fact that he knows what he's doing. He has that lane. But you just have to understand, when you make that lane of talking that talk, you got to live with the results of it. Now, some people love the fact that you will talk their talk. And I love that. I love fans who stay with me throughout thick or thin, and they're not fly-by-nights. I don't care about the fly-by-nights. They like you this week. Next week, you say something that they don't like, they gone. Well, go. But Katt Williams, and hopefully Pat grows to a point where, they have that fan base that will not leave them, no matter what. They're going to ride or die. And that's sometimes when you get that outspoken comic, they usually have a ride or die. It may not be the biggest crowd. It may not be, commercials and movies and all that, but they have a ride or die crowd. And I feel more comfortable for them than those who are scaring me.
That's true. And it's almost like you don't have anything to take away from me because I'm myself no matter what I say or how crazy. Now, speaking of saying some crazy things, Capone, I'm coming to you next. I want to play a clip first. Marlon Wayans recently came out saying that he couldn't marry his girlfriend because of the love that he had for his mother. So I want to play this clip first, and when we come back, Capone, I want to get your thoughts on it. Let's play the clip.
I said, can I tell you something, woman? She was in a lot of pain, and she was, fighting to stay alive or fighting to go. And I said, I'm 47 years old, and I've never been married. Yeah. Because I always wanted you to be my number one girl. And that's the truth. I never got married because I knew my mom needed me. I always want to be women sometimes want to battle for your attention. They want to battle for your love. They want to be the one. Man, my mama here, she the one.
Keep it 100, Capone.
Now,
Keep it 100.
I'm coming to you first. I know you have a son. I know you're a son. Seeing that clip and probably, when you saw it, what was your initial reaction to that?
I really think that was an excuse. I mean, we all love our mothers, but there's a certain limit to anything. And even if your mother is that much to you, doesn't stop you from loving and being with another woman. I don't think that was his honesty. I mean, it could be, he really loved his mother, but I personally think that was an excuse, because you can love your mother unconditionally and still have a beautiful wife to take care of and be with.
Yeah. Now, Miss Pat, while the video is playing, you were saying you wouldn't want your son to love you that much.
I don't want my son to love me that much. Plus, a mother and a wife love is two different types of love. Mm-hmm. You f*** your wife. You don't f*** your mama. It's two different things. I don't think my son want to suck my fucking titties. So what are you talking about? I don't think my son think I'm fuckable. So, it's two different types of attraction. Now, I got a son who's a fucking mama's boy and who's with a woman, but he ain't never grabbed my ass, and it's just two different types of love. I'm telling you, the way he hugged me, he don't hug that fucking baby mama the same way. I'm telling you, he don't kiss me the way he kissed that girl. So I know that girl mean a lot to him. It's two different loves. So I don't know what the fuck he was experiencing. Maybe he just didn't want to marry who the fuck he was talking to, he was dealing with. Maybe she wasn't the one, or maybe he just, I don't know. I don't want to get into what that man was thinking, but I'm telling you, because I got two sons, and don't nobody want to me. It's just a different types of love.
Go ahead, Pierre. Go ahead, Pierre.
Don't say nobody now.
My son better not want to me.
Oh, okay.
I'm the mama.
Pierre, I want to come to you. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm pretty much what Pat said. And I normally don't agree with Capone, but this time I'll kind of semi-agree with the nigga, but but no, I mean, that whole family has a different thing. Everybody kiss each other on the lips, boy, man and man. They have a different love and connection. So he's had a tight connection with his mama. I think it'll dissipate. His mama passed away. It'll dissipate. He'll find he'll find somebody to marry and love. It won't be his mama, of course, because his mama ain't here. But he'll find it, and he needs to find. I think somebody needs to find. He's a good guy. I know him. he has a lot of love to give. Why not give it to a woman, in marriage and live that, or a couple, some kind of way, whatever. I don't
But
know.
it's kind of fucked up. You had to be
with somebody, be with a
47
woman,
years.
man.
It's fucked up. He had to wait 47 years till she died.
Well, that was, I think, like what he said, that was kind of that's one of the.
Till she died.
That's one of the biggest excuses I've ever heard not to get married, as far as like, I just love my mama so much I couldn't marry you. But I will say that there are women that deal with mama's boy, or someone that's so attached to their mom, in a sense where it really disrupts the relationship. You know what I mean? So he could be being honest, where it's like a thing where, no, I always put my mama first. Whether we say it's right or wrong, if that's what he's continuing to do, that could totally be one of the reasons why a woman can't continue with you. Because if I'm dealing with somebody and I see that your priority, you know what I'm saying, always first is your mom, you know what I'm saying, then that's not something that I'm even trying to look at to marry, But I will say there's plenty of comedians that are close to 50 that have never been married, and they not, you know what I'm saying, I don't think it had nothing to do with their mama, but
that's because they get pussy on the road.
They do. That's why I say there's plenty of other reasons why people don't get married. You're too distracted.
You get a lot of pussy on the road.
Well, wherever, right. That's what to say.
You do a good job on stage. There's 9 bitches with their underwear off like you at a black church. What are you talking about? That's why they're not married.
I mean, it's opportunity out there. I know when I'm on the road, I had holes in different country codes as well. And then you begin to hone it in and figure out like, hey, I want to be with one person, and that's why I got married. But I certainly wouldn't say it was for any other reason than I just wasn't ready yet.
Yeah, I can't lie. If a guy ever told me that if he'd be like, I can't marry you because of the love I have for mom, I'm gonna have to walk away. I don't think I could stick around for that. I don't think I could stick around.
I ain't even gonna say that.
Nope.
No.
I mean, it was extreme.
I'm gonna move on. Look, I'm gonna move on. You want to?
No, I just wanted to say, just love.
Well, at least he didn't say what R. Kelly said about his mama. That shit scared me.
What did R. Kelly say about his mama, child?
Remember he was talking about he wanted to have sex with his mama.
Look, I think that's a good way to move on.
Shit.
So, yeah, that was the first time.
I might have walked out of the room
surprising.
on that one. Okay, I remember
Now-
that part.
That probably was the first. Anyway.
Now, question I have for the floor, just going back into comedy. Now, recently, SNL's Michael Shea got some backlash about Simone Biles. Just some comments that he made about her that, a lot of people weren't too pleased with. Now, in comedy, and I'll start with you, Miss Pat, are there any off limits when it comes to especially talking about our people in front of an audience? Maybe in the way that he did it, or just in other ways that you've seen. Do you think there's like a standard of like, hey, this is the limit, don't go past this mark?
Well, it's a limit to jokes anywhere, how you put your people down, whether it's in front of black people or white people. What did he say? I don't even know what he said. I'm just keeping it real. So, what did he say? You know what he said?
I would have preferred, which we can do this on the, show it on the thing, but he basically said that he was grading jokes. He was saying, I got like 30 minutes I want to do on Simone Biles, but I'm just going to keep it to myself or whatever. That's what he tweeted. And then he went on to retweet other people's jokes about her. One that said that if anybody understands her, it's Dr. Nader, the dude that molested her, saying that he too quit a high under pressure or something like that. It's basically
that
saying
shit ain't
like
funny.
it wasn't funny. It was worse than
That's
what
a
I'm
molestation
saying
joke.
to you. It was worse than what I'm saying to you. And then it was another one about the molestation, about her. I can't remember what it was. And he was saying this one's an 8 out of 10. This was good for originality, for the funny, for like he's grading them, the jokes. But he didn't write the jokes, but he's retweeting these foul jokes about her and being like, that's a 10 out of 10. That's a classic right there.
Okay, so those are things that you don't. You're gonna take somebody else's trauma and make fun of it. I could see if you was doing it about your own trauma.
Right.
But you can't sit here and say, you can't do rape jokes about somebody else and expect them to be funny. It's hard to make rape jokes about your damn self funny. So I just think that was hard.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's in bad taste. It's like you can say what you want. We do have freedom of speech, but I do believe that as comedians we have to have a personal code. And there are certain people that I don't know if they think it's cool or cute or whatever it is, but like I'm the type, I ain't f***ing with you. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. You make enough of those kinds of jokes. I've heard all types about all kind of crazy stuff. And people try to do it as shock humor and all this, but it speaks to something about you. So I think that whether you're getting canceled on a larger scale or me personally, I just choose, you know what I mean? Like, I don't necessarily go on the boycott this person campaign, but I definitely in my own mind go, okay, I'm through fucking with this person. I put you over here or I put you over there, because it's like you don't have enough couth or enough understanding. Like, you're mature enough to know better. Right. You also represent a company. You also represent, like, you're a head writer at a major show, and these are the type of things that you don't use your powers for good. Right. Basically, you could do better than what you're doing.
That was
it's
bad
foul.
taste. I mean, especially since it was about her.
Right.
If he said it about himself,
yeah.
I would have respected more.
Right.
Then you can always talk about your own trauma, your own pain. But when you go out here and say 8 out of 10 and you see why the doctor quit, that's f***ed up. Yeah. And that's coming from somebody who's been molested and who's been raped. I mean, goddamn.
Right, it's very triggering for many people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Capone, I want to come to you. What are your thoughts on that and seeing those types of tweets coming from Michael Che?
He's a good guy.
With you,
yeah.
I don't even know who the person is we're talking about. I don't really watch SNL like that, and I mean, from even the feelings that I'm getting from these women in the studio right now, I think it was a bad taste or choice to do that, and I don't think, like Miss Pat said, and with somebody's pain being raped, or that's nothing funny about that at all. So I don't know who he is, and did they cancel him off of SNL?
No, and he has a show on HBO as well. But that's kind of the question: is it like?
Did he apologize?
Not that I have seen. No, he just said that. Oh, what he said is that his Twitter was hacked, and that wasn't him. That's what I promise you. That was his comeback.
Usually when your Twitter is hacked, it gets you out of it.
And that's what people just kept saying. Somebody else did that too within that time frame, but they were like, "Oh, that wasn't even me. Somebody got into my account. I don't know what happened." But I really hate the lack of responsibility. If you tough enough to retweet it, be tough enough to just say, "Yeah, I said it. Right. Yeah, I said it." Or whatever.
Pierre, I want to come to you next. What are your thoughts on that? Even when you're doing your comedy, do you have like those guidelines where it's like, I'm not crossing over there. I know you all are vets in the game, but Pierre, throwing the ball to you.
Well, okay, but real quick, the Michael Che I know, and I don't know him very well, is a nice guy. I think he just got caught up in putting some stuff out there that he regrets, and no matter how he twists it out to get out of it, the person I know ain't that kind of guy. But you know how men are; they get around each other telling jokes and that whole little crew, and sometimes things come out, and it is what it is. But again, it shouldn't have came out. I hope the guy I know ain't that bad. Ain't a bad guy like that. All right. To the point of saying stuff. Like Ms. Pat said, that's a good idea. Some stuff you can talk about that's traumatic that happened to you opposed to someone else. I do understand that. We're here to entertain. Our job is to entertain, be it make people laugh or make people think, but we're here to entertain. And if your act is making people be, feel uncomfortable and not happy to be there or disgusted with it, then yes, you can keep doing that, but you'll see your crowd dissipate, to the point where you'll have nobody around you. I think there's nothing wrong. You can be clever and do your comedy without having to be I guess the word is, I don't use the word mean, but so laser focused in saying such a negative things about someone else's experience. I don't think you have to do that route. I talk about what I want to, but a lot of it's myself, that I went through, my personal stuff. But I don't know if there's a joke I would say I wouldn't want to do. Most of the jokes I do about myself, so I cross the line about myself all the time. We can laugh at me. I get people sometimes surprised that I say the jokes I say, like Ms. Pat said, she'll talk about her own situation. Sometimes people are surprised. Capone does, like, whoa. But to go out there and just say anything, to be mean and vindictive, just to be out there like that, I don't like to set in that situation. And if you want to do that as a comic, and I know some comics are like that, then go, hey, it works. If it works for you, cool. I mean, there's some people think that Corey Holcomb goes over the line. But people love Corey Holcomb. I mean, it's all depends on how you. I think Corey does it in a more likable way than some other people. But if you're just being mean out there to be mean spirited and stuff, I don't see that as comedy.
Absolutely. Now, the comment that you made earlier, and I just want to give some context, that he said exactly was Larry Nassar, which is the gentleman that molested her, understands Simone Biles better than anyone. He too had to quit doing what he loved at the pinnacle of his career because of a mounting pressure. So that was kind of, and then he said, he was like, that was awful, but he gave it a 10 out of 10. So that was him rating those jokes on a scale of saying he's saying oh, that's awful, but I'm still going to rate it a 10 out of 10. And I think that's what a lot of people kind of.
And that speaks to your character sometimes. People keep saying he's not that kind of guy and he's a nice guy. There's nice guys that do up things or bad things or whatever and distasteful things. And if you don't if you're not putting out a statement of, I went too far, or you know, whatever, I do question you. And I don't have no problem questioning. You can say you nice all we want to, but when you're not really considering other people's feelings, well, maybe I will call you immature, or maybe I will call you, you know what I'm saying, whatever. But that type of stuff, I don't know. As a consumer of comedy as well, I begin to have my personal things, and I pull back from that type of stuff. No, I'm not going to buy a ticket from you. You say crazy stuff. I don't like shock type of humor. That's not mine.
I'm gonna say, I hope his Twitter was hacked.
Right. There you go, Miss Pat. Come on to the positive, man.
I mean, honestly, because I know the dude, and he's a really nice dude, and I'm just gonna say I hope his Twitter was. And let's say this: he didn't put it out there; he retweeted it, which is still bad because you allowed it to go on your platform when you retweeted it. So I mean, and a lot of time when you retweet stuff, whether you like it or not, people take it as you like it.
He thought it was funny, and I'm just saying that you need to check yourself.
You know what? If you didn't know if you didn't know the whole situation behind it, what she had been through, and
it was very
probably would have been funny. But since you know what she had been through, you're like, this shit is dark and it's really bad.
He knew it was. That's why he said, I got 30 minutes, but I ain't even gonna do it though. And it'd be like, we can choose to make jokes about whatever we want. I'm just saying that sometimes you do need to look yourself in the mirror and think about, you know, you have a lot of people that are watching you, and we can choose to use our powers for good or evil. And if you want to continue to hurt people with comedy, I mean, I'm not,
I'm just saying he should have never allowed that to be on his platform. What I'm saying is, he's saying his Twitter thing was hacked.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it was hacked.
Right.
Because that was horrible, Michael Shea. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
The man said his shit was hacked. I don't know if it's hacked. I went in his bedroom when somebody went behind his back and hacked the shit. I'm saying, I hope it was hacked because that was really bad from somebody, because I've been molested and I've been raped, and I won't want nobody to say that about the person who did that to me, because it's not funny. It's very hurtful.
And, you know, on that note, I think, you know, just wishing Simone Biles, you know, a healthy recovery, because I know she did take some time away just for mental space and because it is important to really take care of your mental health. So I do wish her the best, and I hope those things aren't still affecting her being able to see those type of things.
The thing that you asked us, and you didn't come to me. I don't know if the comedians answered. What is the limit, or what won't you say as a comedian on stage?
So it's just one, giving your opinion on that, but then also, is there a line that, you know, in comedy, you know, she mentioned personally there are certain lines that you don't cross, but, you know, for you, Capone, is there a certain line where, you know, I'm not going to cross this when it comes to, you know, certain conversations like this one?
Well, handicap, I don't never talk about handicapped people. When I came from prison, my first job was taking care of handicapped people, and I kind of understood it a little bit better. You know, before you would talk about how mental ill people walked and how they talked and stuff like that. And I still see comics do it. And it kind of makes me cringe when I see that, because that's a whole different world that they don't have no control of. And I don't think that is funny at all.
Well, let me say this. I grew up in the inner city of Atlanta here. And when I was a little girl, I grew up in a bootleg house. Me and my sister chose on Saturday, which people is gonna blow your fucking mind. I had a handicapped uncle. Well, back in the day, they wasn't called handicapped, they was called retarded. We used to help him have sex because my granddaddy would buy him pussy. That's what we did. My granddad was like, go back there and help your Uncle Cecil get started, because he was crippled. My granddad had this great idea. If he would let this man bust a nut with these hookers, it would calm down the amount of seizures he would have on Saturday, which is a true story, which is a bit I tell on stage. Every Saturday, that was me and my sister George. We had to take my uncle pants out while the hoe was in the bed, put him on the hoe because he was crippled, pull his knees together. When he get his dick in, we go get our 50 cents so we can play Pac-Man. So I don't stop.
You got to tell that joke.
I tell it. It's going on it's going on my special. So I don't make fun of handicapped people, but my uncle was retarded, and I tell that story from my childhood because that's what we did. Every fucking Saturday, we had to go help Uncle Cecil bust a nut, because Granddad had this great idea that he ain't gonna have no more seizure. And the nigga had a seizure an hour later. I'm like, when he gonna realize this shit ain't helping this man? But he thought it helped him.
Right. Now, speaking of, in that you mentioned your special, not only do you have a special, but you're also doing a tour as well as your show. So I want to go into each one of those. Congratulations on your special, first and
Thank
foremost.
you, thank you.
Can you talk a little bit about it? I know not, too much, but
Yeah, I'm taping it here in Atlanta, September 25th for Netflix, my first hour special at Atlanta Comedy Theater.
come on, well
Yeah.
deserved. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you're going on tour.
I'm already on tour. I've been on tour since last year, getting ready for this special. So hopefully.
How's that been?
It's been great. I'm ready to come off.
Go ahead and get settled and things like
Yeah,
that.
I'm ready to get settled. But we tape it September the 25th, and hopefully things kind of slide down. And hopefully I know if I got a second season by then.
Right, and you can.
Oh, you got a second season.
Come
Yes,
on,
you
we're gonna wish you well.
You got a second season.
Yes, you do. The feedback that it comes just from friends and just casually and stuff like that. Like, oh, I love Miss Pat's show. I love Miss Pat's show. I love Miss Pat's show. I love the format of your show. I love it all too. Yeah. We're gonna say much kudos to you. It's on BET Plus. If y'all haven't already, order BET Plus and watch the Miss Pat show because it is real as hell.
Yeah, you can also look for tour dates on MissPatComedy.com. Now, with all these things, that's happening for you, and I definitely want to touch on the Miss Pat show as well. Is there any pressure that you're feeling right now? Because there's so many, some people would feel intimidated by having so many great things happen. Do you feel the pressure or any pressure?
I get asked that all the damn time. No, I just feel like I'm going to work. People ask me, do you feel famous? I'm like, no, bitch, I'm going to work. Nobody noticed me. No, I live in a all-white neighborhood in Plainfield. I'm here because I'm working on my special, but honestly, the white people in my neighborhood notice me, but I'm walking through the airport, no. And I don't feel any pressure to create. And I think it's because the sitcom has been easy for me because it's so much based on my life, so I don't have to grab shit out the air. So it's been really easy. And then I hooked up with such a great co-creator. And this is Lee Daniel and Ron Howard and Brian Grazer's show. So I got such a great team. So it took 5 years, y'all. It did not come overnight. This shit took 5 years. I went through 3 writers, 3 studios, and many tears and many nights, and didn't think it was gonna happen. From Hulu shooting the pilot to Hulu getting rid of the pilot, to BET Plus coming along picking it up, and I didn't even know it was a BET Plus who gave us 10 episodes. But I mean, I don't feel any pressure. Not now, not to create. I have a lot of other things that we're working on too, but no, I don't feel any pressure.
And I think that's a testament, like you said, you just being your true self. You're authentically who you are. So it's like it's just a part of you.
I hope this show sets a precedent for other comedians to grab them and let them be them. Your show is so authentically you. You're lucky to have a show that's you. There's no censorship. There's no watch this. Don't talk about this topic. That's a beautiful thing. They're getting Miss Pat at Miss Pat's level.
I have to say this, y'all. It was people don't know. I almost made it to Fox 3 years ago, and I decided to say that ain't me. I'm enjoying the money that you guys are giving me, but I'm from the streets. I'm from right down the street. My philosophy: you can never give me as much as I can steal from you.
Nice.
I mean,
Damn,
I'm that bitch.
Yeah.
I'm that cocaine dealer. I'm that check for it. I'm that hood. I'm that street bitch. You can never give me as much as I can steal from you. So I'm not gonna let your money and your holding deal run me. And I was blessed. No, a lot of times you don't get. I had 3 holding deals off this, not 3. Hold on, I had 3 major holding deals off of this shit. Every time they drop me, Lee Daniel say, pick her back up. Pick her back up. I'm gonna find her a writer. So I was blessed in that. But the thing is, I learned from this, with networks, they'll take you and they'll try to mold you. When this kid came along who was 23 years old, say, take her off of Fox. I was on Fox. And they say, take her to stream. He's like, take her to streaming. It was a single cam. He's like, turn it into a multicam. I'm like, boy, you 23 years old. Somebody said, listen to me. But this is the first writer that I had that sat down and listened to me. That when that plane opened on that first episode, that was that kid idea. I was like, they spent a lot of money for that plane, but the conversation on that plane is what I did every day when I flew from my gig on Southwest to Indiana. I would have uncomfortable conversation with white people about what was going on in the world. And I was like, I think this is a great idea. And nobody would listen to me. Right. When I got this kid, he would listen to me. And then we just started to grow together. That's the main thing, is getting a writer. Hollywood writers are so into themselves.
Yep.
I had a writer that would take out all my fucking jokes. And I said, you're not funnier than me. It's my fucking show. How the you gonna take my goddamn joke? You're not funnier than me. And so it was a constant fight. And then you have to ask yourself, do I take this money and do I run, or do I really want to create something beautiful? And in the end, you know, Lee was like, I'm gonna go to the street, I'm gonna find you a writer. Found a 23-year-old kid who was still in college. Only thing he had ever done was a damn play here in New York. And he was doing his last wrap-up date. Right. I got with him and I just said, look, they're not gonna hire you. This is a multi-million-dollar project. You got Ron Howard, you got Lee Dunn, you got Brian Gray. You can't get no bigger than that. Right. They ain't gonna give you no, these people ain't gonna get no fucking job. And Fox is attached. I said, boy, listen to me. We're gonna go write this fucking pilot. You're gonna take your name off of it. And he was like, I said, you got the program? He didn't even have the program, y'all. I said, we didn't even know how to work the program. So we went on YouTube. I gave my credit card. We learned how to work the program. We wrote a pilot in 8 days. While we writing the pilot, I am interviewing top-notch writers, white writers in LA. And I'm like, right, motherfucker, right, motherfucker. I got 5 more interviews, right, motherfucker. I was like, I don't like him. And we wrote it, and his name was on the pilot. And I said, take your name off. And he was like, take my name off. I said, you gotta listen to me. If I turn this shit in to Lee Daniel and it's not good, they're not gonna give you this job. I said, but if I turn it in and they don't like it, they're gonna be like, oh, Miss Pat tried, because I'm the star. Right. I said, but if they like it, I can pull you in. Lee read and said, who the f wrote this? And I said, me. He said, nah, bitch, everything spelled right. And I said, Jordan. Immediately, Fox gave that kid a job. Immediately. Nice. But it's all about fighting for what you want. It took 5 years because I was like, you could give me all the money in the world, but I'm a comedian. When you're a comedian, you get one shot sometimes. You don't want them to put you out there any kind of way, especially as a black woman, you know, and I'm fat. I told him in the thing, you're not gonna slap me in my face with no pies. You're not gonna have me falling over no chairs. I ain't chasing no man. And then I remember when we sold it to Fox, everybody, oh my God, we sold it to Fox. I said, excuse me, people. Are you guys gonna ask me, can I act? They was like, bitch, you can't act. No, nigga, I'm a comedian. They was like, Lord have mercy, she can't act. I'm a comedian. I ain't read out loud in 30 years. They're like, we gotta put in acting class. Like, you sure motherfucker do if you want this to work. And they immediately sent me to acting class. You gotta be honest with yourself. And I was like, I can't act. And so they put me with Tasha Smith for over 2 years.
That's awesome. I mean, and look where it's got you. Like you said, it paid off. Well, again, Miss Pat, thank you so much for not only joining us, but just opening up and continuing to be authentically you. It's definitely inspiring, whether you're in comedy or not. I think just, you know, being that symbol, that icon, that, hey, you know, you can be you and still succeed in that. So congratulations on all your success. And
thank you.
The best, and there will be another Miss Pat show.
There you go.
Season 2. We're gonna see that. And you can catch that on BET Plus, that is streaming right now. And also you can catch her tour dates at MissPatComedy.com. For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
Don't forget to put them in them comments.
Do you know the comedy culture? Play Comedy Hype, the game. Out now.